Happy Sunday Fun Day to our abstract faithful. Welcome to episode 4, Drop the Beat. I'm your host, John Arthur, and joined today with our future music sensation co-host, Aiden Arthur. How are you today, bud?
Thank you for having me. Three episodes, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4, that's true.
Feeling very fortunate.
You feel very fortunate. I love that. Actually, today's episode is all about you and your musical journey. So the real cool thing about today is we're going to actually debut, if you will, Aiden's first beat that he ever created. And it's kind of a cool thing. He hasn't seen it yet. I did a little bit of some abstract stuff with it, just to make the beat even a little bit more exciting. But it's a cool first time thing, and this is something as we follow, your journey, our fans do, and people of abstract, but also as your dad. I can't tell you how proud I am of you and everything that you're doing. And as many people know that are close with us, that we're starting to look at colleges and things of that nature, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But how are you today with everything? What's going
on? Pretty good. It's kind of just been a pretty laid back Sunday. I think the most exciting part about today is being on the podcast, for sure. It's something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Every week.
Any new background stuff that we have today that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, one thing I actually pointed out before we started recording was the Jimmy Buffett CD. So I don't love Jimmy Buffett nearly as much as you do. I didn't really start listening to him until about a year ago. Awful that he passed away.
Yeah.
But one thing that I like about his music a lot is, since we're talking about music today, is it's not, there's not, in my opinion, there's not really a specific genre for it. It's just his own thing.
Exactly.
Which is something that, I'm working up to doing myself. It's just, well, there's hip hop, there's R&B, or there's rock or country. Well, I kind of want it to be like my own thing. So when someone asks what genre is that, I can be like, it's my own thing. I think that's something that he did, and that's why he was very successful at what he did.
That's true. I never think about that because, I'm sitting, people that know me and that I'm a gigantic Tool fan,
Yeah.
And have been my whole life. And that, a lot of people always but always said that Tool had their own genre. So we've got a special guest, as always, Mr. Kyle, who's in the house now. But I'll be honest, I've never heard anybody, you're right though. I mean, Jimmy Buffett is, transcended decades of different fans. And so I've stuck that out there just in kind of a anniversary thing, because I think this was his normal date time that he would be at Riverbend in Cincinnati, which is all the times that I saw him there. All my great group of friends, Brew and the rest of the crew, that we would go there annually. And to your point of him having his own genre, his whole following, the Parrot Heads and everything else too. And it was such a family atmosphere of, there'd be little tiny kids there, and then, there'd be people that were older and everything else too. But I think it's safe to say that pretty much everybody loves Jimmy Buffett. So, having said that too, Riverbend, I may go Wednesday. One of my bucket list concerts I've always wanted to see is Bush and Jerry Cantrell, formerly from Alice in Chains, and they're going to be at Riverbend on Wednesday. So if you go to town, I might end up there. The big thing today is just going into your shoes and kind of seeing how this first beat was created, and maybe give us some of the background for your visions, your how you came to be at this point with music, and just even talk about your passion for music and how you got to this point now where you're starting to make beats and kind of looking at the college route now of audio engineering.
Well, I'll try to keep it short, but start from the start. The first song I ever made was with a middle school friend. I'm not friends with him anymore. It was just really random. We always listen to the same music. We sometimes, like, between like a pause, we would make kind of like our own version. And it got to the point where we were like, let's just make something, screw how it sounds, screw what other people think, let's just make something.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And although it sounded horrible, it was really bad. Just the quality and everything. It was a lot of fun, making something some type of art that I could call mine. It's kind of like with you starting your own business, it's your type of, it's your type of art, it's your type of business, it's what you wanted to do. I feel like that's kind of the same thing with my music. So as years started to progress, so I've been on and off with music for about 3 years. The more I make music, the more discoveries I start to make, with quality stuff or sound effect, like just stuff you can add to it to really make it a song rather than just kind of something you throw together. My passion for music, I mean, that goes since I was a kid. I think it was around the age of 7 or 8.
So Britney Spears.
Oh yeah. Justin Timberlake, all of them. I think it was around, I was like 7 or 8, because it was whenever I played on that travel ball little league team, Freedom Chasers.
Okay, yeah.
My mom and I, when my mom would take me to the game, she would always, because that's when I first kind of got introduced to hip hop, was around 7 or 8. And that was when, like, that was, in my opinion, that was like peak of hip hop. For our new generation, hip hop now is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
But when I was 7 or 8, like, I would listen to a song, and if I liked it, I would pretend, I would be like in my own world. I would pretend that I was this music artist that I've actually never told anyone this music artist that had like this vocal disability where like I could like press a button and I could change my voice into whatever I wanted.
Really?
It's like, let's say like the song Candy Paint by Post Malone. I still like that song a lot. When I was like 7 or 8, the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna pretend that that's my voice on it and that I made it, and all the cuss words in it aren't in there because I was too young to
Sure.
But just with passion with music, like I would listen to the songs and be like, oh, I want to create something like that, or oh, I'm gonna pretend that that's me. Like I'm gonna pretend that I made that. So at some point, like I had like 300 songs that I made.
Yeah.
By completely different artists. And then at one point I was like, okay, well, like I'm doing all this pretending, like why not actually try to make something? And that's led up to where we are now, with starting to learn how to make beats and then just getting more into music alone. Actually, so last night, I was going through Instagram and there's this one artist I really like, and he was inviting people, other underground artists, to a group chat to share sounds together, to find people of their genre that they can make music with. And they were only allowing 150 people.
Oh, wow.
And there's about like 10,000 people who probably saw this. So I DM'd the guy. I'm not expecting a response back. So I'm like, hey, I saw your story. I would like to be in this group chat. And guy responded. He was like, well, send your best song. So I sent my best song. He hearted it. He added me to the group chat. So I'm
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
And
awesome.
it was insane. So I was one out of 150 people to be added into that group. So there's exactly 150 people, and I've already found 5 people that want to make songs.
Really?
It's insane. And if that's just with the progression of music, like if this would have happened a year ago, where I was still so raw with my sounds and stuff, I don't see me being one of those people and be in there. But with developing and learning stuff, and I think God put me in a place at the right time where it's like, okay, you're starting to actually learn how to successfully make a song. Here's an opportunity to expand that. And I think that's exactly, I was very fortunate last night to come across that.
That's awesome. You haven't told me that yet today.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So, I mean, like, where are you at now, like, as far as your ability to make beats, and have you started to put any lyrics, any vocals onto the actual music yet?
So, with me making music, with me making beats, I've just stuck to trying to learn how to successfully make, an entire beat. So it's a very common website. I think almost every producer probably uses this, as FL Studio. So with me having the trial version right now, I can't, and nor do I even really know how to yet, because I'm just still so new to it, add vocals to the actual beat. Nor do I think I've actually created a beat to where it's like, okay, I think I or maybe somebody else could make a song on this. I'm just kind of playing around with it, seeing what I can do with it. And then once I make a beat that I'm like, okay, this sounds really good, then that's when I'll put vocals on it. With me making music before making beats, I use an app called BandLab, and that's just where you can attach a beat yourself, and then you can add vocals, sound effects, ad libs, whatever you want. I do all my vocals on there.
Okay.
And FL Studio, I take time. I take like 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, just to kind of play around with it, to make my own beat, and then eventually progress into adding vocals on there as well. I think,
Okay.
yeah.
So I mean, like, let's talk real quick, and here in a couple minutes we'll drop your beat. You know, looking at college or looking at just other ways that you can improve and continue to grow in the music industry, you know, through audio engineering, music technology, they kind of overlap. A lot of schools or programs will call it they interchange, but they're the same thing, but just with different names or different terminology. What's your goal after getting something like that, and certifications or a degree, and then like having your own studio of making beats for people, like renting that out, like things of that nature?
My goal after getting a degree in audio engineering is for sure to, I want to, like, because there's little goals leading up to getting the degree. I want to know how to like fully make whatever kind of beat I can think of when I do get that degree, because opening my own studio is something that I want to do. Just because, you know, like that's a lot of, you know, it's a smart investment with money. You open a studio instead of, you know, kind of renting out a small space. You're making music yourself, and then you're kind of just waiting for money to come in. You open a studio at a bigger music industry spot, maybe like, you know, Georgia or Florida, or, you know, once I start making money, maybe LA, just a small spot. Then people can come in and pay you to help them out. They can even pay you to leave and use your studio for a few hours.
Sure.
There's so many ways you can make money off of that, which is why I'm attempting to learn how to make beats. I mean, that's just another way of income whenever I'm working on my actual music.
Sure.
For a future career.
You know, one thing I just thought of too, because and I've probably mentioned on some of the other episodes where you and I have talked about it, that, you know, Aiden is currently looking at Northwest Florida State in Niceville, Florida, which is just north of Destin, and a place we visited many times and love the area, even considered moving to at one point. So, you know, it's an exciting opportunity and an unbelievable area. You and I've talked about like what an amazing opportunity as a freshman in college to be able to go somewhere as amazing as that. And something I've even just kind of been thinking that of just listening to the things you're telling me today that we've talked about in the past, obviously, is even with a studio, I could see something like you having a studio initially in Destin, and imagine people, which that's such a huge vacation destination, that people come down and you have a preset studio, maybe some tracks already pre-programmed in, to where someone could come in and say, hey, we're on vacation with our family, my son, my daughter, you know, somebody wants to make a quick track, you know what I mean? And they pay you X amount of dollars to do that, and then they record it and they get to take their own track like in hand right out the door, or something electronic. Like that'd be something really cool. Like that would be an experience I would pay for to go somewhere. It would be super unique. Even the times like we've been in Nashville, remember we went in those recording booths?
Yeah.
They were hilarious. And I think Aiden's got a video of me belting out a little bit of Tool probably or something with the door open. And I can't sing like he can, so I think we all think we can sing when we're in the car or we're home alone, but I definitely don't have your voice. So
actually, there's one thing, just going back on what you said and what I said a few minutes ago about how hip hop today is not the same. I was thinking of this last night, just kind of listening to music on SoundCloud, or the songs that people in that group chat are producing to the inbox. I genuinely think, really, with the right presets, with the right sound effects, with the right equipment, I think anybody can make music nowadays.
yeah, absolutely.
The technology behind it, the amount of auto tune, the amount of preset vocals that people are making in today's generation, I genuinely think anyone can make music and it sound good. The thing that's separating anybody and then those few people that actually do make it are vocals, not like lyrics.
Sure.
The creativity behind lyrics. Someone can just walk up to a microphone with the right auto-tune and preset options and say whatever they want, and it's gonna sound good.
Sure.
But are you producing an actual creative message through lyrics, or are you just going up there and saying something? I think And the thing that I hate with today is a lot of people just go up to the microphone and say stuff.
Sure.
And it sounds good, but there's really no message coming across from it. But people are still like, "Oh, this sounds so good." And back then it was like, "Oh, this sounds good, but what's the message?" And then songs like even "Candy Paint" by Post Malone, go back to that. There's a message through that when you really listen to it.
That's true. Having lyrics like that, I mean, that mean something. But I mean, I'll even, you think about iconic beats throughout the years. There's certain beats that people have created with their own creativity that are iconic. We could go down the line of a million different things. That's what I love what you're doing, because just like if I do a painting, like I painted this behind us here. I painted our upside down cat. You know what I mean? It's abstract. It's what our company is. Nobody knows what it is. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But it's something that you created that no one else can change. And that's what I love about your music, because even our viewers are out there. If you guys create something on your own, that to me is one of the most amazing things in this world, because it's a one of a kind thing. It's a custom thing. Whether I make some cheesy T-shirt that's funny, or a painting that I do that's funny, or in your case, in a serious, cool way, like making music, it's totally awesome. I think on that note, we should give the viewers what they want and let them hear your beat. What do you think?
Oh, I agree.
All right, here it is. Is there a name for this? You have a name for your first beat or track that you've created?
Aiden's Beat.
Aiden's Beat. All right, so you guys are ready for it. The premiere of Aiden's Beat. Here you go. Holy cow. All right, so we're having fun here in the studio. I think we have our house cat, Mr. Kahlo, in the house with us. Our cats do hang out with us when we make the podcast. So, it's like a treat whenever we get to see one of them pop into the screen or whatever, come out here from behind the producers and come and hang out with us. Mr. Kahlo may be in the shot right now. If not, Aiden will maybe put him up here. I'd like to say again, like, just how proud I am of you and, things that you're doing. And, we'll talk about a little bit in the future about, some of the past stuff that, you kind of get in trouble a little bit at school and things of that nature your freshman year with music. And music's always been a controversial topic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, even when I was a kid, I remember Two Live Crew was a big thing. I mean, you had Congress getting involved years ago with, trying to ban music and things of that nature. And it's always been controversial over the years. So, language, things that people use and that stuff, I understand it in this day and age, but it's there. We can't hide from bad words. We can't hide from bad things in the world and the way people interpret things. What is bad to someone may be great to somebody else, and vice versa. So we at Abstract, we want everybody to be happy with what they want to do in their own lives, right? So I'm proud of you for continuing on and pursuing what you really want to do. One last thing I'll say too was that one of your teachers came to me at the end of last year, and when I had mentioned to her that you really wanted to pursue music, and she was familiar with kind of what happened your freshman year and some of the stuff with the SoundCloud incident and so forth, and she was excited about it, because she was like, yes, he's still, that's God's plan for him. He wants to pursue that. He can make any different types of music that he chooses to once he graduates and grows up as an adult, and I love that support from her in saying, hey, just because you had one bad incident in a certain situation, that doesn't define you, and that your passion and your plan is to go on and create music and so forth, and I'm entirely proud of you. So
I'm proud of you.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Of course.
We got Mr. Kahlo in the house. I don't think we ever mentioned this in some of our past podcasts. Kahlo is our foreign white Balinese. He's a foreign white. It's extremely rare. So he's hypoallergenic. Aiden has extreme allergies to animals, and it's crazy that Kahlo can lay on his head and it doesn't bother him at all. But they are hyperallergenic. We have two. We have Kahlo and Finn. I don't know if Finn's been in any of the shots before, but he pops in.
He was in the first one.
He was in the first one.
Yeah, he was in the first one.
He looks a lot more like a Balinese cat, and Kahlo certainly does not, because he's entirely white. So he's a cool guy. One of the best cats ever, kind of like a little dog. Having said that, man, hey, great episode.
Great episode.
And I would like to thank everyone out there in Abstract Land today. And until next time, live abstract. Peace.